Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, every single person out there, dog, cat, human, animal, welcome to Team Fortress TV. It's your boy, it's Turbo, the mailman, dad, meme, whatever you want to call me. I'm here, and I'm here hosting our ETF2L Season 33 Single Elimination Round 1. It's time for some good TF2. This is the premium TF2. The TF2 you've actually been skipping over and glossing over past those first 7 weeks that we all do. It's fine. It's okay. I won't tell anybody. But you'll have to let the secret in on our two friends tonight. We've got Ombrack here on the co-cast. Say hello to the nice people, Ombrack.
Hi. Oh, hello. You said hello.
Okay, very good. And we've got the greatest man at casting, but we've decided in our pure wisdom to slap him onto the production desk instead, and we got Beta doing the button pressing and the camera work tonight, because that guy just needs to be good at everything. Alright, so sadly he cannot say hello to you, so we're just going to say hello to our two teams instead. The two teams that have come into our round one, spoilers if you've got your eyes closed for this entire time, it's going to be Ascent versus Elektro. Not really too shocking in the grand scheme of things, but Ombrack, if you could maybe catch us up just a little bit, like you've been watching the season at all, you've been attuned to these two teams' journey?
No. So you said no, it's not shocking. It's not shocking, but it's a bit surprising. Not surprising, but unexpected to see Elektro here, because they had to go through some positive circumstances from that to go here to be here, because they had to had a favorable tiebreaker with Warren Sons to make their way through playoffs, but eventually Eames found a way to go through playoffs with his own team and not by murking for somebody else. So here he is. It's Eames, it's Elektro against Ascent. Ascent, a bit also shocking to be there on the third place, because people would expect them to be a bit higher up the rank coming into the playoffs, but no, they're here in the first round. And before we go any further, let's just say this is a new format for the playoffs, something we haven't seen in a while, so things are going to be a tad bit different this time.
Yeah, I'm glad you got into that, Tom, because that was our next point. We've done away with or I should say ETF2L have done away with the double elimination. There's no second chances here at ETF2L Season 33. You're just going to be playing one match, and if you screw it up, then that's it. You're out. You're out of there. So this game will decide who will be playing Faint Gaming in the next match, and then ultimately whoever passed that will play against Seven. So between these two teams, Ombrack, first impressions for the people that haven't been, keeping a close eye on the regular week seasons, like, does Elektro deserve to be here? Does Ascent deserve to be here? Who's going to be taking this? Just give me your impressions.
I think at this stage of competition, it's not about who deserves it. It's about who's there. Maybe Warren Sons deserves more, but are they here? No, they're not. Eames is there, so it's not about who deserves it. It's about who's there. And when you look at all the remaining teams, Seven, Faint, Ascent, and Aura, I mean, any reasonable man would say that Aura doesn't stand a chance. And maybe they don't, but do they care? I don't think they do. They have one shot at it. You said it. If they lose, they're out. But if they win, they're still in the race, and they're taking out a big opponent for them. So, Ascent is favorite, but is that enough? Usually, doesn't mean all the story.
All right, boys and girls, the tournament is over. It's now onto the tournament. It's ETF2L Season 33. It's your single elimination round 1, and we're starting off on process. It's Ascent versus Aura. Let's see who starts off this mid in a grand gesture. And I'm seeing no real grand gestures so far. Both teams are just kind of laying back, playing that Ascent sort of casual play, just seeing if Fuku kind of shows weakness first, and it will be Eames. Then as the dominoes start to fall, it looks like a bit stronger for Ascent so far. They've got a stronger position, they're taking a bit more high ground, and the point as well. Domo being alive is going to bring a lot more damage to his team compared to the Aura compadres, but they're slowly manhandling them with some picks and skirmishes here and there. With just Ams left and Domo down, that means they will have to surrender this point. Although Ams is being kind of cheeky, he's poking, he's looking at them, he's giving them the death stare, marking them for death, and Now he's got some backup in, that's in the form of Zebasai. He'll take a brave jump forward first, and it's time for the second mid-fight on Ombrack. Sorry, there's no time for the analysis breakdown, there's just more action, more fighting here on this midpoint of... and yeah, I guess it's over just as quickly as the pipes laid into Ascent.
It was a really slow and steady fight on the first mid. Aura was really patient. Ascent looked like they won the first DM fight, but that second DM fight was extremely dominant for Aura Elektro. I think especially for Eames. If I'm not mistaken, I think I saw him land a couple pipes that made a pretty huge difference for his team, and now it's going to be a last push maybe for Aura Elektro, but the Ubers are even. No med was forced to use their Uber, and Credo is there on the sniping rifle, ready to click on the head of Demos and maybe claim the first drop of the game. We'll see how that goes. But look at Aura Elektro; they're being extremely passive here. They know with the sniper they can't really afford to be too aggressive, otherwise they're going to give Credo a big juicy line, and it's pretty much up to Aura now to try to break that hold, to break the safe. And Ascent are known to be quite aggressive. Some would say they are even a bit... they're not really patient, especially Amps. So it's going to be interesting to see if Amps decides to make something of his own.
Well, Credo is certainly fishing. He's looking, he's checking the entire lake, and he can't seem to find a bite anywhere. He's just getting glimpses of red here and there, but they just aren't giving any freebies out to the finished player.
So poetic, TurboTabs. This is why we've missed you.
Yeah, truly a man with words, as Credo just can't seem to find the soul. Oh wait, a soul pointed his head for a second, but he's a very beefy soul. I don't think he's going to go down to a headshot, even if he got the headshot then. So yeah, while Credo's still soul searching, the rest of Aura are just kind of chilling back, waiting for them to make a mistake, maybe for them to get a bit bored. Credo will actually go down to Zunes, who just came out of nowhere like a bullet out of hell, takes out the sniper, and with the one-man advantage, they could definitely slow push this, because it's now a two-man advantage. Oh god, Ascent should be quaking a little bit in their boots here. They might even lose Polygon. Connor's forced to pop off to make sure Polygon stays alive, and they even lose AMS during all this as well. Yeehaw's just kind of yeehawing around the last point. He will actually kind of force out the fighter for Aura Elektro to come in with their Uber. Ascent and Zebasai are not going to pick up this point. They're actually going to lose it. It's 1-0 to Aura Elektro.
Really patient from Aura. They waited for Ascent to be a bit wary and push into a little bit with the sniper. That they got Credo, and I'm surprised to see no gun on last for Ascent. Probably would have been a more sensible decision here. But in the end, all in all, Eames is taking the first round. That's quite a surprise already.
Alright, so looking at our second mid of the fight, let's see if they can come out a bit stronger. Ascent.EU, they did start off the last mid quite well, but the second mid was just a bit rough. You could actually call this the third mid, as Polygon is actually going to be isolated, controlled there. Will pick up the health pack, but Poison's going to follow up with some nice beefy damage, but the follow-up is just not really synced up with Aura Elektro. They're all just playing passive and back still, and it's a little sad to see because they all want heals right now. Everybody is standing still on Aura Elektro. Please, Demos, please heal everyone, but he's only got one crossbow. He can't feed everyone with health, and that's how Ascent are going to win the fight.
This time Ascent decided to be a bit more aggressive. Their soldiers tried to take position in the back lines of Aura, and then they tried to go for the Eames pick, which was really important for them to win that fight. And now they're going to try to see if they can bomb onto Demos. Demos takes one rocket from Polygon. Polygon dies in that attempt, and that's going to be probably a stalemate here. Knowing Aura Elektro, I don't see them trying anything here to break that hold, except maybe Zunis, but other than that, they know the cards are in Ascent hands, and it's up to Amps to probably... I'm expecting him to go for a trade and try to see if they can get the better end of that fight. And
Zunis is in. He's popped Connor up in the air, and he was kind of low, but couldn't find the fourth and final rocket. I think he kind of used a lot of that for just jumping into the fight, so not too much to play with. He will come back to the world of living in about 9 seconds. I don't think this really allows Ascent much time to make a play, but it is kind of up on them to make it. Gentleman's agreement, you know that.
Yeah.
Midpoint.
But give Amps a frag, and he's going to take that, and he's going to try to take even more. So I'm expecting them to take the charge, or maybe try to get someone behind, and this is what they're doing into the lobby.
And they are slowly but surely going through this. Azunis is... Oh no, the drop! You all expected it, you all needed it, and Connor will always deliver it. It's a drop here in the Ascent game. We wouldn't have it any other way, Connor. As with this medic going down now, they're all trying to just get aggressive, see if they can get onto the top of Demos, because that's the only way they can really salvage not only this point, but maybe this round. But Demos is still alive and kicking, but it's cost them quite a few men over on Elektro. Maybe they actually will not make this mid push.
But AMS is behind, they know about this, so they gotta be careful because AMS is reckless and they can go for that juicy 2-shot onto Demos. But usually what Ascent is really good at is when conduct drops, which happens every now and then, more than others, some would say, is Ascent is really good at committing on the enemy medic and get the force anyway. And this time it looks like Aura was ready for that and just killed everyone who was getting close to Demos. So nice read on that situation here to just gather around their medic and play around that, and now they're gonna use their Uber onto mid.
Yep, Eames is in deep, and he will actually get enough time up in the air to allow Demos to reconnect with him, and I think that was kind of key there. It made me a little worried for the boy as he went into choke by himself, but they will get that nice 6 times cap, will get the midpoint, and they could probably push this still into second point because Connor hasn't quite got that Uber yet.
No, he was lucky to survive here, but nice serve from him, managed him to pretty out of harm's way, and now Elektro are trying to go in, but they know that...
Azunis. And Azunis is out. Never mind.
That was a nice attempt though, because so this put people to spam, try to draw some attention away from Azunis, so Azunis could go in and got the force, but Ascent was ready for that, and Conduct didn't have to use, and that's going to be a slow push for Ascent, and we can see that Demos almost has his Uber. So once again, I feel like Aura is really good at reading the situations, knowing when to back off, to make sure they get the stability they need to get the stalemate going. And as we've seen so far, Ascent not really good so far at breaking any kind of equal situations.
Yeah, it's a real shame as well, because if they saw what we could see, they probably would have noticed that they didn't have the Uber quite yet. There was a lot of respect being played at by Aura, and that's all I see here throughout the entire match, is just them respecting their opponents so much that they don't even want to give Ascent like an inch, let alone a mile.
And now the Ubers are once more even. AMS died, so is he gonna spawn back on enough class? It's not really the... Usually leaves that to Credu, so I'm expecting him to see as a scout again, as he spawns as the scouts class. So maybe now it's time for the renowned AMS trade that we mentioned before, where AMS takes the Uber in, tries to force the medic, and see if his team can coordinate well enough to win the after fight. And that's somewhat an Ascent specialty. Whether they do it good or wrong, that's up to everyone's judgment, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them trying that.
Oh, Zebasai, he's going in, and he's definitely going out, but it was all distraction for the polygon bomb, but Demos does a nice surf away, and the soldiers are no more for Ascent. They even lose AMS in one of these flanks, so they're really going to pay heavily for this sort of aggressive style that Ascent really like to captain, and Domo will go down, so... With those players and the Demo Man going down so late as well, this has got to not only assure the midpoint, but the second point as well.
I feel like Ascent's not really playing to their usual strength. We've seen that against Feint on the first map, where they went for a lot of sacks instead of going for the usual trades, and they're doing that again tonight, and it's not really serving them well so far. The bomb coming in from Poison, and the force... Oh, Condog almost died here, but he finally uses.
Ooh, Poison actually gets... Oh no, Poison, I think if you didn't use that last rocket there, you would have survived. Oh, poor lads, getting too fancy there for your footwork, as... They will throw in Polygon, trying to fish out for maybe like a kill, or... I mean, heavens knows a force is what they want, but I don't see that really happening for Elektro, at least not in this capacity. They're just showing too much sensibility in this team right now.
Now Amsizen is trying to see if he can go get the frag onto Zunis, but can he get more? It looks like he was gonna win that fight, but inside, and now he forces the Uber out of Demos.
Oh no, this is the worst kind of pop as well. The one that you desperately want to just hold on to your Uber, that you just let all of your team die in front of you one by one, and you don't really get to do any work with it. So the Uber is basically forced out, and the rest of Elektro will be coming back, and just in time before that midpoint is capped forward. But Ascent are already knocking at the front door. They're here. They want to start getting some kind of pressure in on the second point. Poison wants to go for kind of a surprise sack onto Connor before he gets his Uber, but it's not going to work today. So they will give up that second point.
Yeah, nice from Ascent. I feel like they disrupt the rhythm from Elektro, managing to take the mid, even though they didn't have the Uber, and that was really well played. Nice surprises push here from Ascent.
Yeah, they've cleared the point, they've cleared the sentry gun now, it's just time to clear some of those names off the Aura Electro board, but they're actually taking names themselves. Oh, nice little bomb in from Polygon to get some nice damage in. Zebasai's going to follow up as well, takes out Eames and takes a round for Ascent. It's 1-1. I guess we've got a game, Ombrack.
Yeah, that's a lot more like Ascent. Again, a lot of more disrupting plays, I feel like. Any other team probably would have backed off when they saw that Aura had the Uber and Amps didn't, Conduct didn't have his own Uber. But it's Ascent, they know when to push sometimes against the flow of the game, and this is really surprising. Most of the times it worked out really well for them, and Aura was a bit too respectful of that push from Ascent.
Okay, third round, fourth mid fight, and Polygon's jumping in. Let's see. Oh, Zebasai is actually coming behind. Nobody noticed the Zebasai bomb. Demos is actually going to crater from the flank, and now they can just play the heals off of Ascent. But they know that this is going to be a problem. The longer this fight is drawn out for Aura Electro, the more likely they're going to lose. They're going in one by one though, lemminging in, and I was kind of hoping for a coordinated play there, Aura, but I mean, I wouldn't know what to do after being bombed like that from Zebasai too.
I feel like Zebasai went so fast into the enemy sewers that nobody saw him, and so he got the free bomb onto Demos and got the creative frag. So it was really huge and well played from Zebo, and nice read here. And again, more aggression coming out of Ascent, paying off for them. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them just, keep the train going, and they know that they have the DM advantage, maybe some momentum as well. And this is really important for a player like Amps, who plays a lot on the flow of the game and how it's going for them.
Early pop out from Connor, not risking it. No sniper will get him today, even though they're not rocking a sniper over on Aura Electro. They will take out the sentry gun pretty quickly, but they just cap it outright. It seems like if everyone hides from Aura Electro, they would just cap the point. Yep. Simple TF2, 101.
Push with the ad, get the gun, get positioning. Aura again playing on top and close to their spawn, but this point was played really early by the scouts. So nice clear and cut push for Ascent. Really well deserved round here.
It looks silly on camera, but it feels like Aura have to kind of kite a lot of just fight there. It's really hard to do. Anyway, we're going into our fourth round, fifth mid fight. Zebasai is actually not going to go for the huge flank. He's going to go for the air flank, right, flanking over their faces, as now he'll come in from behind, but doesn't really find the same rockets that, I kind of jinxed myself. He will find the rockets on the demos, and Ascent will kind of clean up all the turned heads as well, and I guess a couple minutes is all Ascent needs to diagnose the match and start winning this mid.
Yeah, I feel what's hurting Elektro right now is that Eames is playing these mids really passively. I don't know if he's failing his rollout, but he's just waiting in choke, waiting for an arrow, and so he doesn't take any space, he doesn't sticky any sensible areas, and I feel like this is why Aura can't take any ground, any space on the mid, and they can't put up a good fight against the soldiers of Ascent. So I feel like right now it's up to Eames to fix that mid, because if he's that slow, he's just giving free ground to Domo.
Now this is a commanding sort of presence here from Ascent. At this point now, with 2 rounds up, they're going to feel so comfortable just pushing into this last. It's going to feel like another day at the office. They've cleared the sentry gun on the other side this time. Oh, switching it up, are we, Aura? And it's just going to fall again to the same issue. Oh no, Aura actually come out of their base this time. They've got some bodies on the point, and they can't cap it out just as quickly as they did last time on Ascent. And although it was a little close for comfort, as Ascent bodies are still kind of floating about, looking at that point, and Credo, he wants it, he's looking at it, he wants to get near it, but nobody dares, as there's a few stickies just teetering on that edge there, and the player advantages, the reinforcements have come back for Aura Electro.
So it's both a nice reaction here from Aura, learning from Demisec on the last round and just playing the point more aggressively this time, and also from Ascent, only one player playing the cap without any support for him. So I think it was Credo who tried, or Amps, one of the scouts, but nobody was really helping him putting any cap time. So if anyone else was there for like a second more, it would have been around, but it's like a combination of these two issues.
Dot push coming in from Ascent, and Connor will pop off nice and early as well. They choose a different door this time, keeping Aura Electro guessing. Ams will go down to like a flutter of red players so quickly, but there's just so many blue players to go and chuck onto the point. 3-1 to Ascent.
Yeah, both the Uber advantage and the cap time was too much for Elektro to overcome. And again, I feel that these pushes from Ascent are really well read on the situation. They know where to push a bit, they know where Aura is weak, and this time they just played well both around the Uber timers and around the cap time.
Yeah, Eames not even going for the health pack, it seems, as he's just going to sit back and wait for his medic to heal him up instead. They're playing a little bit more left side here on Elektro. I like it, you know, change it up, try not to keep Ascent in the comfort zone that they've been feeling all mids, and Domo's feeling a lot of pressure, and oh, if that rocket landed from Azunas, I think he might have gone down, but Poison's actually going to go down instead for all of his effort, and he's taking the page out of the Zebasai book, trying to get behind, but Ams has him under control, and as everyone's just trying to hit against each other in the front line, it's coming out Ascent. Actually, Oro just cap off the point. That's a little shocking. I thought Ascent would take that a bit more aggressively. They're still fighting here. They've actually popped off the Uber as well, but Ascent will respond in kind with their own. They're just grinding up against each other. Yeehaw is yeehawing out of the midpoint, and he's taken 2 scouts with him and his own life. You do see Oro Elektro kind of benefiting from that respawn a little bit, but they've brought out the big boy. The Kradu sniper has just come out to play, and who cares about respawn advantage when everyone just keeps dying all the same?
Yeah, Kradu was sniping on mid, and when Ascent uses a sniper, Zebozai goes to scout, so they still have 2 scouts, and this is why Ascent was stuck up in their choke for so long, because Kradu wasn't hitting shot, and they had no soldiers but Polygon to try to take ground, so they really were reliant on Kradu to hit the shots, which he did on the second half of the fight, so that's why Ascent decided to let the Ombrack get the cap. It meant a better sightline for Kradu to hit the shots, which he did, and then they just got the trail.
There was a demo man there, but Kradu is done with him now. He's moved on to his next dish, and oh no, doesn't quite finish the plate there, as Kradu will actually still just sit back taking cherry pots, and God, the Ubers have just popped out, and Kradu is just trying to pick out his target. My God, he gets a dirty body shot onto Poison during that post-fight, and Demos is even going to go down, and oh, I thought if he got that close-range shot onto that flanking scout there, I would have gone apeshit. But they were going to get the second point. They've got no medic. They've got only Eames' sticky bombs on this last point. They're going to get the Connor kill, though, and a nice little flank around from the rest of Oro Elektro, but they need to get these bodies, these reinforcements on the point before they can cap it out, and they will. Domo's going to go down. They're chasing for the AMS kill as well, and he's still proving to be a bit slippery enough that going to keep Oro Elektro a little bit worried about a back cap here.
Yeah, when Ascent pushed, well, Kradu on sniper gets the body shot onto Demos, but when Ascent pushed, Zunis went on to choke, and it looked like a feed, but it did so much damage, and even got a frag onto Condog that it slowed down the push from Ascent and allowed Aura to fight back. But now with that frag from Kradu onto Demos, it's going to be another easy fight probably for Ascent to do that Spire, probably taking that Uber advantage straight onto the last.
Man, I feel for Aura right now, because they had that point. They capped it off. They had people alive, but the pressure of the sniper alone and not really having anybody or game plan really to just deal with him in that moment, it was enough to just push them back to last point again. It feels like nothing's going on, but it feels like the world against you in those moments, especially when Kradu's rocking the sniper. Now, let's see what Ascent have cooked up with their Uber. They're going to pop in, they're going to take out the sentry gun and Azunas as well. They've got a little bit of pressure on point, but nobody's really dedicating to it right now because those stickies are still there. Domo's thinking about touching that point, but they just have too much to deal with on all these little flanking sides, as Aura will hold on to the point. Actually, Ams trying to just sneak the point. Kradu's still around. Let's not forget, as he takes out Demos. Too many Domos and Demos here. And he's going to take out Demos, the medic, with that headshot. And yeah, sadly they have defended it, but they cannot push out with it.
A bit of a scrappy push on last here for Ascent, but in the end the damage is done because Kradu once more was able to get the frag onto Demos. That's kind of the double-edged sword when you're having a sniper. If he doesn't hit the shots, your DM fights just don't go your way. But then a single click on the head can just turn around everything, and this is exactly what happened on that last push for Ascent. The fight didn't go well because of lack of damaging classes, but then as the fight seemed lost for Ascent, Kradu just got Demo, so now it's going to be another Uber ad push for Ascent.
Alright, you do have Yeehaw on the counter sniper though, but Azunis is going to keep Credo controlled and like flanking around. It looks like Ascent don't really need too much of Aura Electras. They're doing just enough damage to kind of continue a fight. Polygon's just going to go in. He's going to take a big brunt of like 3 spamming classes at once. Ams is toying with the idea of going in. Connor really wants to back out because he just took a crossbow and he's just leaving. Ams pissing in the wind, but god damn is that piss hurting. He's really laying into them. Oh my god, Ams, he doesn't need a medic. He looks into the eyes of 3 players and goes, no. No, sir, this is my round.
Not the slightest respect in Amstis on that last push. And again, the last push went bad because Credo couldn't hit shots, and then the fight went bad, of course, because they're missing a soldier on Ascent. But this time it was just a 1-man army fight for Ams, who just gave that round to Ascent. So really nice, kind of cocky fight, but really well done for him.
Man, that's got to be tilting if you're on the side of Aura Elektro. You had all the players there, you had every right to win that, and you still lose. So let's see if they can kind of channel that negative energy into something positive onto this mid. Poison's going to be isolated and controlled and pushed back to his medic, and a lot of healing is focused onto it to bring back into this fight. But it's a good thing that Nevo is going to kind of tie out that demo man death, and yeah. With that demo man down, the dominoes fell for Ascent, and the mid will go down as well. And Ams, he's feeling himself. He's actually really, really toying with them, but the soldier of old recipe of just shoot the ground, get kill, and Ascent have forced out the Ruber there, and I guess they're going to have to give up the second point now because Demo still holds on to his. It does make me wonder if Ams is going a bit too cocky in here, Ombrack.
Well, that's how he plays. When he's hitting it, it's just going for play. Sometimes it's not going to work out, and sometimes it's just going to two-shot everyone. So, you know, high risk, high rewards. Somehow, Eames got a really wonky rollout, but Domo wasn't able to get any advantage out of this, and that DM fight was a bit slow, but Override took the advantage, and now they're pushing, and they have the Override, so that's good for them.
Oh, they've sent everybody into that top bunker, but sure, they did get the Connor kill, but what about the sentry gun? What about all these players in the resupply? They could play heals here over on Aura Elektro, but it does make me wonder how long until the Ascent troops kind of start respawning in, and yeah, nobody's really fighting the point at all. Everyone's just kind of looking for kills, picking off players one by one, and it's working for Aura Elektro. Who knew that slow and steady wins the race? Although Domo has something to say about that. He's trying to go for one last effort, but it's going to be 4-2. Maybe there's a comeback brewing here for Aura Elektro.
Yeah, this time Aura Elektro, they didn't really buy into the bait from Ascent. Ascent, who was kind of expecting soldiers maybe to be a bit out of the positioning so they could get the frags into Poison and the Zunis, but Aura played around their medic really well and eventually make it 4-2, but they will need a bit more than that if you want to make it a comeback, and I'm expecting a bit more from Eames at this point.
Oh, Zebasai going in like it's MGE and will knock Azunis off his perch, but doesn't quite finish off the kill. Gets a crossbow and he's out of the fight for it. And Aura Elektro just sticking with what they feel like has been working, which is just bunching up, but Poison will show a sign as the first weakness of this Aura Elektro armor, and just getting crushed under the huge weight of Ascent and their coordinated attack. Yeehaw's trying to hold the front line, but will go down just the same, and they're going to Demo's going to take the scout taxi back to the last point, but the taxi's still being chased by another opposing car. Credo, he wants to kind of show that he can play with the big boys like Ams as well, but will go down. But he's just a mere scout. It's too much to ask.
Asante decided to completely give up on mid just to try to get the frag onto Demos, but only Credo and to some extent Domo was into that fight, so that wasn't enough, and now they're gonna have to take a wonky fight because Ibers are even and Ams is on spy as well, so it means one less scout for Ascent, and if Aura were to take a DM fight, they're gonna lose it. They're gonna win it. And they even forced the Iber out of contact, so really well played here from Aura. And the spy here could really important for Ascent if Ams can get his knife onto Demos.
This would be some 4D chess play if they kind of play a fight like that and then end up losing the Uber just so Ams can, you know, get the backstab into a false sense of security. Oh god, he actually goes for the Eames instead. If he waited just a moment longer, he probably would have got the Demos kill. Oh my god, that would have been a great air shot if Demos didn't have the reactions of a god. So that pop definitely saved out Demo's life there. That would have been like one of those cratering ones, I can tell.
I think it would even have been a direct straight into demo space. It wouldn't have time to create a here, but eventually the result is the same. Uber has been used and it's out of Aura's hands now, and Ascent is gonna push with that Uber ride again. We see once again, it's probably for the best, 2 scats and 2 soldiers for Ascent, and they're gonna try to push into that mid fight.
Yeah, they push Azunis back, and they know that he's going to be the main factor that's going to be forcing Connor here, so keeping tabs on him, and that was enough. There you go. Free mid for Ascent. Thank you very much, Aura Elektro, for donating this to their charity.
It's a lot
Very
of
nice.
respect, but it's probably because Demos was close to Uber, so Aura didn't want to take any risk.
Okay, oh well, we popped, okay, we're just going straight in. This is, this reminds me of my Div 5 medics popping in like that. It's like, oh, let's push, click, and then we're just going in. Oh man, that was a bit out of nowhere, Connor, but oh god, he will go down now. There's no real Uber to play with, and all the panic and fury and confusion, Ascent are just being pulled apart at the seams by Aura Elektro. The bomb's coming in on top of Demos. Demos is suddenly meeting a scout to the face. Nobody checked the left side flank, and I guess with the dust settling, no medics alive. Who's going to win the scrappy fights? And they're both trading here and there, but oh, nice little direct there from Azunis is going to claim that back. But the respawners are a little bit kinder for Ascent, but they can't really take advantage, at least not yet.
Questionable bomb here from Eames after the Uber was used for Ascent. I feel like if he was a bit more conservative, maybe it was an easier fight, easier time for Aura Elektro, but eventually they got the mid. And one thing's weird about Condog is that I don't try to put shade on him, but it looks like he's building Uber less efficiently than other medics, or maybe that's a crit. That's actually a crit, so I'll take that back this time. Condog, I'm sorry. But yeah, that's an Uber ride for Demos, and at this point it's kind of expected here for Aura, because it's 2 minutes and 30 seconds. They need to make it quick, and they need to have that blitz trick happening for them.
Yeah, I like this. Crits lets you dictate the pace of the game, and god, they need this game to go over quickly. Eames is going to pop off this crits, but the greatest way to counter a crits is to get aggressive, and that's what Polygon does. He will go down, sadly. The laser beams are out. Yeehaw is yeeting on the poor Ascent squad, and with just Connor alive, they could probably cap out this last point. Yeehaw's already on the last point. Connor's going to have to go battle medic, and he's taking a lot of shots to the face. It's 4-3. Are you feeling it, Ombrack?
It's possible. Really nice crit here. They didn't got a lot of frags with it, but they got a lot. They got the jumping soldiers that were going for Demos, and Azunis on the backlines as well. Wrecked some havoc and disconnected Condog from his scout. So that was nice coordination play, even though that's not really how you play crits, but it worked this time. But now it's only 1 minute 45 seconds, and Eames eventually has a nice rollout, so that could be a deciding factor here.
Oh, a big boy bomb onto Eames, and Zebasai is actually going to go down for it, and Eames is all back and healthy. He's got all his health back. Polygon's going to jump onto Demos, but it was a wasted kind of pick there as well. It's looking really good for Aura Elektro here on Ombrack. Oh boy.
Okay, I don't know what's happening. It looked like a good mid for Ascent because Zebazai did a lot of damage to Eames, even though he died for it, and I felt like maybe Ascent wasn't aggressive enough here, because you know when the clock is ticking and you know when you make a mistake it's gonna pay hard. You kind of sometimes contemplate the idea of not being aggressive.
Oh, they're going into last. They actually get the Domo pick. That's quite nice, but it's a bit of a shame that that second point still needs to be dealt with. It needs to be capped, and Process is one of those kind of shorter maps where, you know, you can just get to last point, I guess, before you really need to cap the
it's gonna
second
be hard.
point.
It's gonna be hard. Ubers are even, and there's a heavy. It's gonna be really tough for Aura Elektro now. It's only 39 seconds.
Where's the weakest part of this Ascent defense, Ombrack? Where would you start if you're Aura Elektro? They're actually going in for the slow push. They lose one man already, so it's not a great start. They actually will just pop in aggressive. Connor going to meet the eyes of Aura Elektro. Will they stare too deep into the storm, though, as they have got the Fat Man? The Fat Man is brought down so low, and he's brought enough backbone for everybody and Ascent to kind of collapse onto Aura Elektro. The dream is dead, at least for this map. It's going to Ascent, Ombrack.
Yeah, so it looked like a really one-sided fight here on that last push, but I feel like Credo lived on really low HP, and I feel like if he had died, it would have been a whole different story. So I don't know how much of a difference I would have made, but I wouldn't have been so sure that Ascent would have won that fight so comfortably. But in the end, why dwell on possibilities? Because Ascent won that, and that was really close, but when you look at the big picture, it looks like Ascent had a bit more control over Elektro on this process map, and that's kind of deserved for them to win, even though they kind of scare themselves at the end.
Now, I mean, you're right, Ombrack. Ascent did win this. They did win this, but if you're Elektro, you got to be feeling a little bit happy. I mean, I had a look at their results from a little bit way back, and it seems like such a long time ago, but it looks like they've grown as a roster. They seem like a bit more tidy, a bit more confident, or at least like just more well-rounded as a team, or just doing the correct things, what they need to do. The execution gets a bit sloppy when Ascent really kind of push their Ascent way on top of them, but I mean, this is a good sign for a good match, right? There's still 2 maps in this. This is playoffs. It's best of 3. Need I remind you?
And what's interesting is that process was Ascent's pick. So now we're gonna go on Aura's pick, which is weirdly enough product, which I think was gonna surprise more than one. But yeah, Ascent now really won their own pick, so maybe there's little doubts in their minds right now. But at the same time, it's Ascent, and sometimes they don't really care about trivial things such as doubts. They don't really care about this.
Right, there's no such things as feelings in the Ascent mumble. But I don't know, if I was AMS, I would be quaking in my boots just a little bit, because if you're picking a map like Product, surely you've got something up your sleeve if you're Elektro.
Oh, but you know what's scary for Aura right now? So we're going to Product, and when you look at the logs for Ascent, both Credo and AMS are in the top damaging players, and Domo as well. So it's like the top 3 damaging players on the server were from Ascent, and they were really dominating classes on Product. So I really hope Eames has an idea here, because picking Product against Ascent is really bold, and I wonder what they have in mind.
Yeah, it truly must be making a statement, and I mean, it's not like they couldn't, it was one of the many options, or if there was much to do with it, because there was a lot of bans. As part of the new season as well, that we never really had a chance to get into. You get 4 bans this season, not just 1 ban at the start. So 2 bans for each team, 4 bans altogether, 9 maps. So 3 maps to pick from those final 5. So again, like it's a little shocking that it's made it this far. Really, I thought it would kind of get bammed out by one of these teams, but if Oro really want to pick their poison, they certainly have.
Because Poison is in their team.
I threw it up. You knock it out of the park. Nice one. All right. So talk to me, Ombrack. I am but just a Div. Well, once upon a time, a Div 1 flesh-brained, like poor thinking man. TF2. That was a sentence in there somewhere. But you're a smart TF2 man. Yes. What do we need to look at here on Product? What's going to be the match going to be like?
It's all about pretending, Turbo. I'll teach you.
Oh, thank you.
The things to look out for on first layer would be Credo Sniper, Am Scout, and Zebo Scout, which is probably what Ascent is gonna field. Ascent is known to be, has the reputation at least, to be good on products solely because Credo is hitting shots and he's really good. But I feel like if Credo doesn't have that day where he hits everything, if he's just average or even below average, there's probably room for Aura to make something happen, because they have really good scouts themselves, especially in Yeehaw. I'm a bit more concerned about their soldier duo, especially Poison, because he's kind of new to that level. It's his first time playing playoffs, I'm fairly certain.
Oh yeah.
So how much of that is gonna play, how important is that going to be? I don't know. Like on paper, I would give us a really good edge to Ascent, but I don't know. I feel like this is Aura's peak, so they surely must have something up their sleeves. They must know something. I've looked at their results they record on the map, and they've won against War and Sons on Product. I'm talking about Aura Elektro, so I guess they had, who is a really good team on that as well, and who had Cuff, good play Sniper as well. So maybe they have a plan against Sniper, maybe?
Okay, alright. I'm interested. I'm fascinated. There are a lot of points to really unpack here, as not only the King of the Hill map has its own sort of unique way of playing. It does kind of lend itself to the losing team a bit more as well, because, I mean, if you haven't got that point, you've got a slight respawn advantage, so hey, that kind of lends itself to being the wild card of the map pool. It's always like a nice map to turn to when you feel like, oh man, we are so outgunned here. Let's just see if we can just DM donkey our way onto this King of the Hill map. But do you think it might have been just that shallow for Oro Electro? Or do you really think it has to be something deeper?
Well, Elektro are not really known for their DM. They're more known to be a kind of methodical team. Some time ago they were playing 7 all the time, so I assume they got stuff out of the 7 playbook. And Eames is more, I feel like, maybe I'm wrong, but I would say Eames is more of a brainiac than just a all-out DM kind of guy. So, yeah, again, I don't see Aura going into that product game against Ascent without a solid plan, or at least the outlines of a plan. What is it? I have no clue.
Yeah, fair enough.
But there must be something. One thing that could be interesting is that product has a whole new dynamic from when Zebo used to play. So maybe he's not as used to it as he was before, but that's a bit of a stretch, I think. I'm just trying to see what Aura can have. But honestly, when I saw the map pick, I was kind of wondering what's going through Eames' mind.
Well, I thought, until I looked at the maps as well, I thought, oh, they picked Process. Okay, I guess they're doing a good job in Process. And then when I've had a double check of it now, I was like, wait, they picked this map. Okay, all right. Well, again, I guess we're just kind of really bigging it up, like saying like what's inside the box, what's inside the mind of Oro Electro right now. But I want to bring back to that point that you were talking about with Poison. Coming into these single elimination playoff systems, like, is there really that much pressure there, Ombrack? I mean, you've played some playoffs in your time. Like, is it really different compared to an average ETF2L week?
Well, the playoffs that I've played were not in that format. They were a bit more forgiving because it was a double bracket elimination system. But I don't know. It's hard. I don't think you have that. It's not that much in your mind. It's more of a, it's there in the back of your head. I wouldn't say you actively think about it, but it would be foolish to say it's not here, and maybe it's gonna have some impact that you don't really know about. But when you're Poison here, maybe you were not supposed to be here in the first place, yet you are. I'm saying that because Poison wasn't the first pick for Aura Electro originally when they were trialing players. So maybe he's one of these guys who strives under pressure as well.
All right, well, the pressure is here and it cannot wait any longer. It is our second map of this best of 3. Aura Electro need to win this if they want to stay in the running for the ETF2L first place prize, or fourth place prize, or third place prize. Maybe they're not the fourth place prize. As we're going straight into it, Ascent.EU have got a lot thrown out to that Aura Electro blob, and they've just ate it up. Nom 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 nom. Very easy for Aura Electro, and they're going to get a pick off onto an overextended Credo as well. Connor, fortunately, will keep himself alive.
What's a bit unfortunate, though, is that Demos ate 2 rockets for dessert, so Zebozai was there to serve the dish. Polygon did a straight jump onto the combo of Aura, drawing the attention from Yeehaw and Nevo, so Zebozai was able to do a flanking jump straight onto Demos and get the frags. So even though Ascent doesn't have the first mid, the first cap, they have the override, and that's almost even more important.
I was a bit worried about this. Demos just jumped straight into Demos, and Demos looked like he was really into that fight. It's almost like they haven't been keeping track that Connor was alive during all of that, and they could have just Ubered into them at any point. But I say all this, I blink, and then suddenly there's more red players on the point than there are blue players. How did Aura Electro do it, Ombrack?
I feel it just gathered around the bombing from Domo and Kondog, and then they just absorbed. Yeah, Demos died, but at least they got all the frags that were around them, so maybe they just were okay with that situation. We're making the best out of a bad read. And now a lot of cap time is going from Ascent.
Yeah, Poison's going to go into the blob of Ascent.EU, and he does lay a decent amount of damage, but no real follow-up, as Aura have got to deal with these scouts. Credo and Am's just kind of dancing around on these rocks, not even touching the floor. And they will get that midpoint back from Aura Elektro.
Yeah, but that's one of the realms where Ascent are kings, DM fights, and Aura didn't stand a chance in that one, so it was just a straight fair cap for Ascent, straight up better DM, and Demos has a really small over advantage.
Yeah, and if you're on the cards here for Aura Elektro, trades are good right now. Gain trades, you will get your players up a little bit quicker because you don't have the point right now, so Aura Elektro just trying to find anything, but Ascent playing really far back, holding this point from an arm's length, and with both of these teams having Uber, they don't really want to be the first ones to pop it off, but Demos is just going to knuckle down and go straight into it. Demo is going to go down. Connor not as quick on the trigger finger, and Connor's kind of begging for his team to maybe go in, but his team's like, no Connor, don't be silly, get back. We don't have a demo man, and we're going to sit back instead and let our scouts pepper out these overextensions, but Eames is doing a good job of kind of kiting or getting some damage in on some of these aggressive Ascent players.
Yeah, on that fight, the Ascent players were spread on the whole width of the map, whereas Aura Elektro was a lot more stacked around their medics, so that's why they won the fight. They had better heals, better positioning, and that DM was better because they were closer to the targets, and this is why they were able to claim back the cap point.
Zebasai is in the back line, and with that headache they have to deal with, they're not looking at the forward front of Ascent, and they're actually doing a good job of trading to say what garbage positioning they have, and there we go, they actually will just give up the midpoint instead, and let's just see if that's enough to kind of... Oh, okay.
Crudo went all the way back to spawn. I feel like this is what he did, and he got the fragment to Demos. So that was a nice read here for Crudo, because so basically Aura Elektro was waiting on Cliff, and the bait was from Arms and Polygon, I believe, kind of stalking Demos onto that corner, and then Crudo was behind unannounced, and doesn't need the invitation to just go in the party, and that's why he got the fragment to Demos. So now it's a huge advantage now for Ascent, because they have the positioning and the Uber advantage.
Yeah, they've actually gone for an old 7 favourite there. They've run the Pyro out of the side door, maybe to get some kind of lucky reflex or just push out with that, but quickly they realise that means we have to play with the Pyro, so they just go back and switch out Yeehaw into a more appropriate class, and they found a bit of an opening here on this cliffside instead, and they want to play a bit sheepish though, because Ascent.EU still have that Uber ready in their back pocket, and Demos does not, so they're just going to kind of sit back a little bit, build a bit of this Uber, and there we go. Now that they're both Ubers even Stevens, they can start getting a bit more aggressive here on this Aura Elektro squad. And Domo trying to deny that space with his carpet bombs, and Yeehaw is going to go in, take a big solo Uber, will force out Connor's Uber. He won't make the same mistake twice and keeps Domo alive, and Zunis is going to go down in the back line to Zebasai, and numbers advantage dictates that Ascent are going to win this. Poison bomb is not even too effective as well, and it looks like the time is just going to kick in instead, although Nevo's just gone straight onto the point and bought some time for his team. Poison's going to go down to a suicidal sort of bomb, and Zunas will get the pick onto Connor, but it won't get the pick onto the round. It's 1-0 to Ascent.
The last situation was kind of poorly read by Aura Elektro, because the Uber were even, the Ubers were even, the numbers were even, but decided to wait a bit, and the more they waited, the more cap time was going in favor of Ascent, and by the end of it, they had to do that desperation trade, hoping for them to work out, and it didn't, and then there was too much cap time for Ascent to lose that round.
Yeah, not a good start here for Elektro. Polygon, wow, he really wants to start off the mid quickly, and he will quickly go back to the respawn queue as well. Oh, Domo was waiting for a crossbow, but feels a rocket instead from Azunas, and with the kind of foothold control for Aura Elektro, this is going to be their first cap. And let's just see if they can just recover some of the Uber charge here for Connor, at least, as he still kept himself alive during that mid. And still fighting. Alright, okay, sorry, no time for analysis, Ombrack. Please take the chair as I will take the reins. And it looks like Demos is going to... Actually, Demos is going to take a bit of damage, but not enough to go down, sadly, as the Ascent is still holding on to this from an arm's reach, as they have got the Uber charge now, and Aura Elektro did get it a bit quicker, but they're going to respect the fact that Connor was probably going to be building at a sufficient rate and such a tiny advantage as well. And they're just just staring each other down. Someone has to make the first big brave move, and it looks like it would be Poison, or would it be Connor actually with his reacting Uber to keep Domo alive. They have got Azunas to deal with behind, but he doesn't reach the health pack in time, and with the Uber charge exchanged from Ascent.EU, how do they go aggressive onto here? They throw one soldier, it makes Aura Elektro angry, and it sends them raging forward to take out not just the scout but the demo man as well. Zebasai skill stick out, and Polygon will get the pick onto demos in all of the action. Aura
There's
Elektro.
no way. There's no way Zebo got the frag onto demos because everyone from
happened
Aura
there, Ombrack? I know
Elektro
you're
knew where he
speechless.
was.
Well,
There's
no
no
way.
way he was able to
Speak
do
to
that.
me, Ombrack.
That's it. I'm done.
What
But there was no way it happens. Zebo was behind. He just high bombed in and got the frag into demos, even though everybody from Aura knew he was there. So really mishandle of the situation here.
Alright, well, they've got the midpoint back here for Ascent for all the troubles, and they've even got an Uber advantage as well, but they haven't got a demo man advantage. He's just gone down to poison spam, and all that Uber charge is going to mean nothing if you've got nobody to slap it onto. Ams is toying with the idea, and we did see him kind of style on players earlier, but he thinks better of it. He's going to wait for his team, and the team is going to be ready just in time for this Uber.
It's going to be an Uber advantage here for Ascent, and I feel like we've seen them pushing aggressively with the Uber, but didn't really work out for them really well in this round for Ascent, and this time they're trying once more to go in, but they're going to get a frag. They finally get Eames and Poison, so that's okay, but Demos was able to leave almost unscathed, and the Uber advantage is going to be for Aura Elektro when they manage to come back. And there's also no cap time whatsoever. Well, also, actually it's coming now, but it's a bit late I feel like, and now Demos is going to come back with the Uber. And they're not even capping for...
Yeah, they want to get respawners maybe? Well, that's just a lose-lose scenario there. They just kind of waited for them to come onto the point, and both got obliterated by the chariot from Aura Elektro. Connor wisely decided to just back out and preserve what little build Uber he has, but Demos has got 100% here, and that's going to buy a lot of time for Aura Elektro, because they're just too scary of a force to deal with right now.
And Credu is now finally on the sniping rifle, and he needs to hit shots right now because Demos has the 30% Uber rad, and he doesn't have a lot of sightlines here. He's just waiting on China to see if he can get anyone. I think Poison was standing still, but somehow Credu missed a shot.
Next level. He's so used to hitting moving targets, he can't hit the... oh wow, Demos actually just pops off the Uber there. He senses Credu's eyes on top of him and thinks it's better playing safe than sorry. And Heems, you're playing it a bit scary there. Azunas will finally take care of the Credu pest, but he will go down as well. But a nice little trade probably for Elektro. They'll happily take Credu off the map, and Azunas as well. Ascent.EU still haven't capped off this midpoint. I mean, they are getting some nice trades here and there, and the trades are good for them because they will get that respawner advantage kicking in at some point, but just made me wonder if they will be able to hold on to it for long.
Can you call Credu a pass on sniper when he hasn't hit a single shot?
Oof.
And he knows it because he's back on scout, and but now once more Ascent getting the better end of that stick because they have the point, they have the Uber advantage, but for some reason they don't have the cap time, so they will need to have an efficient push this time to make sure to secure any positioning, and Zebos goes in for the bomb, but they can't find Demos.
Oh man, they will not... oh actually, oh wow, some very nice follow-up now. That was a little strange, but they've got the force out onto Connor. I think with Demos going down earlier in that fight, it kind of forced the hand of Aura Elektro just to go aggressive there, and I mean, mission accomplished. It's not the worst for wear for Aura Elektro. With that force out, they can still yield back this mid from them, and Poison gets a nice little bomb onto Domo as well. A nice little flanking fight as Poison even gets a kill onto Credu as well. He's making up for lost time here on some of this round, and they're going to get back this midpoint and away from the clutches of Ascent.EU, turning it into a second round.
And somehow Aura Elektro completely disrespected that forward hold, especially Domo. They just bombed him and got the frag early, so no stickies were to be worried about. And there's a lot of cap time now for Aura Elektro. If they can win that fight, probably can take that round, and they get the frag onto Polygon early, so that's probably a good entry pick for them.
Oh man, Poison picked out of the air by the Credu pistol, as they will get this midpoint back. Both Ubers even for... Oh no, they've lost Eames. Oh, that's gonna really hurt for Oro Elektro. It's all up to Yeehaw now to get this, and he can't land a single shot onto Ascent.EU. It comes up to Nevo to actually do the heavy lifting, and he's going to be the one to die for it as well. Oh, life is cruel for the French scout. Let's see if they can make one last huzzah at it, Ombrack, at least for this round. 5 seconds left, and they have to pressure the points a little bit, otherwise it will just go straight out. Eames is fighting from there, but it makes it so easy for Ascent to just fight around that point, as they just laid into the trap. It's 2-0, and I don't see a plan in sight, Ombrack.
I don't know why they lost that round, because I feel like they were in control, they had cap time, and that last fight should have gone their way, but maybe they were a bit too cautious. I didn't really catch the Uber situation, but I feel like they could have done slightly better by being a bit more aggressive and less lenient, but in the end it happened, and Ascent are one round away for making it to the next round of the playoffs.
Zunis is behind. He's brought the attention of a couple of players, and whilst all that attention was taken up here, oh, Zebasai has gone behind. He's trying to go to Demos. Very nice serve coming out from Demos there. He's on top of the oh, actually he's on top of it. Oh, it's a real shame as well. He got a nice little hidey hole to kind of avoid all that spam, but it kind of pigeonholed him into this very claustrophobic spot for him to receive a lot more spam.
And in the end, the play from Conduct dying first was really smart, because now he has the Uber advantage.
Next level play.
That's Conduct for you, ladies and gents.
Alright. Oro Elektro, fortunately they can sigh a little bit of relief, realising that Connor's not going to have the Uber up immediately, and the difference between a 60% built Uber against a 35 is 0. Like they both do the same basically. Until he actually builds that Uber up to 100%, they're fighting on fair ground here, but Oro Elektro don't want to take any ground. They just want to sit back. They want to actually wait out this, get some picks, and deal with the aggressive Ascent nature, but it's still getting some trades here and there. But are you really that upset if you're Oro Elektro, if you're losing out a few trades? They are going to get the pick onto Credo as well. They're just bleeding here at Ascent.EU, but is it worth it just to keep this Ascent Uber alive for as long as it has? I mean, they still have the cap time. Oro hasn't really given them a reason to go aggressive here. They have their own Uber charge now. There's no excuses here on Oro Elektro. They will pop off the Uber first for Ascent.EU, and it's just a scout in an array of red flashing players. Zebasai is caught behind as well, because that's what Zebasai does best. Oh, he's going to get the bomb onto Demos. Of course he is. So it's all eyes on Connor right now. Can they go aggressive here on Oro Elektro? Try and equalize this medic advantage, and I'm seeing no. Ames just kind of gets picked out. They've got two soldiers to deal with, and Poison isn't even kind of in the flight zone for dealing with Connor. And oh my god,
got him.
Oh, he got him. I've
jinxed it again.
I am very sorry. I just see the outlines. I don't see what goes on in the house. I should maybe read the kill feed more, but hey, good job, Poison, good job. I'll admit when I'm wrong.
Yeah, that was a decent play, even though the initial jump from Eames was a bit questionable. In the end, it worked out for them because of Poison, who got a frag, and now they're gonna have a small Uber advantage. Even though you're right, when they don't have Uber yet, then the Uber doesn't exist, and the bomb coming out from Zebosai cleaned up Eames as well. It's pretty nicely done here for us, and nice reaction.
Alright, so a medic piece for both of these teams, a rare sight to see on this product map, but the Ascent want to still take the fight with them, and oh, it's a bit scary. The two scouts have full HP and they're holding that W key, but they won't chase fully for the kill, as the respawners have come back for Ascent.EU. And Polygon is jumping in, very telegraph bomb, but it was a bit of a distraction maybe for Zebasai to come in. He's on top of Demos again, and Demos is going to have to pop off a Zuba to deal with that Zebasai aggression. And Zebasai is still alive during all this. Yeah, he's gone back and picked up the health kit, whilst the rest of Ascent are kind of licking their wounds and dealing with the stress of losing Connor during that skirmish.
Yeah, Zunis once more in the back lines wreaking havoc and getting a frag onto that Conduct. That was really important pick here.
Oh no, Poison. He was waiting for a crossbow and he ends up going down to a scout that came flanking behind. Zebasai is going to go in on top of demos again. My lord, if Zebasai is not going to have a huge medic kill count at the end of this game, but if he could actually get the kills onto demos, but it just feels like a lot of attention brought onto that medic. But c'est la vie, it is the Roma life after all.
And now the situation looks okay for Aura Elektro. Yes, the cap times leans heavily in favor of Ascent, but Ubers are somewhat even, and they have the Aura Elektro is in control of the mid. So if they are a bit more aggressive than they have been so far, and if they have better read on that situation, maybe they can get better trades. But Eames is already getting really weak, and I feel like Domo is completely getting a lot of all the grants he can get. Domo gets it.
Oh man, Poison's greatest enemy there was the wall. He was trying to back out, but just kept bumping into the scenery. And oh, it's getting a bit laggy here onto this product map. And Ubers have been exchanged out. Eames can't really do anything because everyone's just invincible on the side of Ascent.EU, and will go down as well in the chase and aggressive nature of Ascent.EU. But they're actually going a bit too aggressive for my liking. Oh god, Sam's coming around the corner, just gut punching one of the scouts down, and they will get some overtime here over on Aura Elektro, but they even got all the respawners as well. Very, very nice, but there's just so much to deal with. Ams is hiding somewhere. He literally is hiding in the house, and he comes around at the perfect time. What a wonderful play coming out from the Finn there.
Demos hit the pipe, and then he ate the pipe, and then Ams was behind and swiftly picked up the frag, and I think this is gonna be really hard for Aura to take that, but as I say that, Zebasai and Domo dies, maybe saving Grace is actually possible for Aura Elektro.
Oh no, not with Azunas going down. They kind of need all their players alive to kind of coordinate. Oh, Poison's gonna go down as well. Team, where is my team? He's probably wondering, as they all just pick their own little hiding spots to then spring out. Just as quickly as Demos comes back to the fight, the rest of his team is left as well. They're going to try and cap off this point. It's 3-0. It's over. It's done. They've been eliminated. Ascent.EU will ascend to that next round. Thank you. The puns are on fire tonight. Okay.
And kind of what we expected, didn't we, TurboTabs?
Yeah.
Ascent didn't really have to use their full power, I believe, on this product. And yes, sometimes the round timer was close-ish for Aura Elektro, but they never really felt really in control in the way that, yeah, guys, we're gonna pick that map because we know what to do. It never really seemed like it.
Yeah, and you're right. I just didn't get the wow factor. I didn't even get like the weird thing that they were going for, or what they saw in the map. I don't know. Maybe there was some point early in the week. Maybe it's just the fact that it's the wildcard map, and it's the map that usually the weaker teams like to pick and just hope for the best for. Who knows? Either way, it's 3-0 for Ascent.EU. Congratulations to them, as they're going to be facing off against Feint Gaming in the semi-final. But before we do that, and before we do any sort of interviews, let's do some logs. Ombrack.
So remember when I said that Ams, Credo, and Domo all top damage on process?
I do.
Well, you can just copy that and paste for product, because this is exactly what happened.
Well, there you go. I guess it really... They do say like life can be broken down to its most simple maths. It's simple mathematical formulas. A bunch of ones and zeros, and truly the matrix is just repeating itself here. As yeah, you're right. It's almost like 1 for 1, almost in the stat lines. Like Am's getting a lot of like kills and like low deaths. Same with Credo. Domo feeling a bit more wrath actually in this match.
Wrath?
As the Demo Man.
Was Wrath playing?
Hey.
Did we catch Generation Karanax?
I'm talking about the filthy sin. But
oh.
Yeah,
Forgive my English.
The grapes of wrath. All right. So Domo does go down a little bit more, but it looks like he does his job quite sufficiently. My question mark for this game is a bit more like Eames. Usually, I mean, say what you will about Aura, I feel like he has a good showing on this map. And it is quite a Demo Man friendly map. You kind of just basically sat in your little position. You've got your little pixels in the sky that you shoot your pipes at and bombard the enemy team with. And I guess we weren't seeing that sort of damage out of the English boy.
No, we didn't, and it's pretty much the same story that we first saw on Process, where it looked like straight from the rollout, it looked like Domo was in a better shape tonight, and it had that mood, it was ready for it, and it never looked like Eames was able to. Not to say that that's the only reason why Aura lost, but like losing the demo one-on-one on both maps is really gonna hurt your team, and it feels like whether it's down to team coordination or just individual lack in efficiency when you play. Though it always felt like Eames was just below Domo skill-wise and impact-wise on both maps.
All right, Ombrack. I'm going to give you a weighted question here. One that can't be answered by logs, sadly, but it's got to be on the minds of some people out there if you've been paying attention to the ETF2L season. If War and Sons won the tiebreaker instead, would they have done a better showing here against Ascent.EU?
I want to say yes, because I feel like, so let's just think that they would have played the same maps. I feel like War and Sons, even though they lost to Elektro on product, I feel like they're a better team on product as a whole, like overall. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is why I believe. And I don't know. I feel like they would have been better. They tied with Ascent during the regular season as well. But it's really hard to say they would have done better, because in the end it's all hypothesis. But I feel like they would have done slightly. They would have lost, I think, in two maps. But I feel like they would have done maybe a bit better. Even though, like, let's not forget that it went down to the wire on Process. It was 4-3 to Ascent, and it was really scary last minutes for them as well.
Yeah, of course.
But I don't know. I feel like maybe Warren Sons would have maybe taken that to a third match. I don't know. No, I don't even think. I think Warren Sons would have lost.
I mean, if you want, I can give out my favourite question. Would the maps have mattered here? Do you think if they played a different map other than just the actual wildcard map, it would have actually gone well? Like, what 5CP map would you like or Elektro to play?
So for some reason, apparently Eames is good on Sunshine. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true, but apparently he's good on this. So maybe they would have had a better shot on Sunshine. Other than that, I feel like it would be unfair to Ascent to assume that Aura Elektro would have had better chances on any other map, because Ascent is, regardless, a better team. There's no doubt about that, and it's not throwing shade at Aura Elektro to say that they are not as good as any of the three other contenders for Prem this season in the playoffs. So would have the map matter maybe on Sunshine, but other than that, I feel like it was not a done deal from the beginning, but I feel like it would have been really hard for me to conceive a map in favor of Aura Elektro.
Okay. I respect it. Okay. Well, speaking of respect, I've got two of the biggest respecting players here in the interview room. I've got Ams from Ascent.EU and I've got Yeehaw from Aura Elektro. Welcome, boys. Welcome to the channel.
What's up?
Doing good. Now, I'm going to start off with you, Yeehaw. First off, bad luck or, just unlucky, consoling words, there, all that. But Yeehaw, you got to tell me, what do you think went wrong tonight? How did this happen?
I mean, I don't know. It's not like there was some crucial mistake we were making. They just pretty much outplayed us. I mean, I think the rounds on product closed and Process was 4-3. So, if you look at it from a holistic view, in my opinion, it's not really that bad a result, considering we did just come together this season. So,
yeah. Okay. Now, Yeehaw, I've got to ask the question because it's just burning in my ear, and I will get to Ams eventually. Don't worry to his chat. Yeehaw, why did you guys pick Product? What screamed to you guys about this map that you thought, yeah, this is it. This is the map we're going to beat them on?
We played 7 in Scrum there, and we know Creddy likes to go Sniper, so, and they had Stark on Sniper, and we counted him pretty well. It was close. It was 3-2, and there was a world where we could have won that, so we were feeling pretty good going into it.
Okay.
And
All right.
again, I don't think it was like, I don't think the scoreline represents how close the game was. I mean, the rounds were like 6 minutes long, but maybe from your perspective, maybe I'm just, maybe I'm just talking shit. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean no offense, but I know it's just interesting. But all right, Ams, welcome. Well done.
Hello.
You've done this so many times before. You must be getting sick of these interviews. Yes. I've won
I'm
another
like telling
round.
my team that somebody else has to go for once. Like, who cares about what I have to say at this point? Because I'm here every time. You guys have to convince Domo to grow some balls and get in here sometime.
Guess Zebo, and we have 1,000 viewers.
Yeah, honestly.
All right, Ams. Tell me from your perspective, like, was tonight's like difficult? Was it stressing? Was it worrying? I mean, you guys must have been a little bit worried on that first map there.
Well, yeah, they were like coming back, but I wasn't really worried or stressed at all. Recently we made a change in the team in the calling, very recently, like yesterday, where I'm like not really main calling anymore, or basically I'm mute. I'm just running around and shooting people, and Domo is doing most of the calling. So personally, I was not stressed at all. I'm very happy to just chill and shoot people for once. It feels really good, and I think Domo did a good job calling. It was good.
Wow, that's a really interesting point, Ams. So changing an entire way that you like kind of call or play the game right before playoffs. This is it's quite a drastic change. What inspired it?
Well, I just get emotional when I play, and then it affects my team really negatively. Like one night I'll show up and I'll be like super into it, and I'll be making like a lot of good calls, and I'll be super energetic, and it'll be great. And then the next day I'll show up and I'll just be pissed off, and I'll just be blaming people, and I don't know. It just it affected us really negatively when I wasn't able to kind of consistently call and stay positive and stuff. So that's the main reason. But for me, it's just I just don't want to. I don't really want to do it anymore, just because it's making me like angry.
Yeah.
I'd rather just not do it. And I know Domo is like a really fucking smart player, so it's not like we need me to do it. Like everybody in my team has a brain for themselves, and Domo is like he's a good caller. So yeah, I really enjoy it the way it is now, and it's the same kind of play style still. I mean, I feel like I created the kind of foundation for the team with my calling.
Yeah.
We've kind of got a lot of things set in stone already, a lot of pushes and a lot of stuff that we do. Like we're still doing the same stuff. It's just that Domo is a more consistent caller, so he's better at calling that stuff every day and being good at it.
Oh, very good. Okay, and Yeehaw. Sadly, the season ends for or Elektro now that it's a single elimination sort of setup. But if you look back at like where you guys started, are you happy with how much your team has grown, or how you've all grown personally over the season, or do you feel like it's been all right, it's been okay, you've just kind of been just as good as week one?
No, I mean we definitely improved since week one. Like week one, we lost 3 points off of Goon Squad, and I mean like if we played them now, that definitely doesn't happen. We probably win much easier, shall we say? But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how the season went out. Like I mean, I reached playoff.
All right, cool.
Which is a first for me and Nevo and Azunas, I think. It would have been nice if we like. It was kind of weird because there was like a weird tiebreaker with Warren Sons. I mean, so I would have liked to play them. I was up to play them for like a playoff kind of match.
Yeah.
But we asked them and they feared to play us, even though we did say we would play. So, I think we take the default on that one.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
I mean, they don't really fear if they were out regardless. So can you call that fear?
No. This was before the result came in of the before Ascent and Fate played their match, which decided the tiebreaker score. We asked them if they want to play a tiebreaker because we were going to win on like 0.05 tiebreaker difference. So the admins okayed it, and we asked them, and they didn't want to play, even though we said we would. So
okay.
All right, Ombrack. Yeah. I'm finished talking about feelings now. You can get your smart questions in. I see you on Steam chat messaging me. I've got some questions.
Well, I found it interesting because Ams, after the game against Faint last week, you said that you were really happy about how you were main calling and that everybody in your team was really buying into what you wanted to do with Ascent. And now you're saying that you changed main calling. So isn't that weird for you to build a roster to play like you want to, and then to when it matters the most to kind of not give up on the main call, but just to give it to someone?
Well, we still play the way I want to. I mean, if Domo is gonna start calling like pussy stuff, then I'm gonna interfere for sure. But I have full faith in Domo. Like the way he plays is pretty much how I want to play. Like we're still on the same page about that. So the playstyle hasn't really changed that much. If anything, it's just a bit more consistent. Like that's what it's all about for me. It's just consistency. Like I'd love to call if every night I would come on and I'd be happy and I'd be like calling to the best of my abilities, because I feel like when I'm on, like when I'm feeling good, I think I can call pretty good. Maybe I'm not the best at it, but I think I can like control the game pretty well with my calls, and I can sometimes even be like a good influence on comms. But I'm just not able to do it consistently, and that's been a huge problem for my team. And also when I'm like getting angry and I feel like if we're losing a scrim, like yesterday we lost pretty hard to Feint, and we're like getting rolled or whatever, and then I'm main calling, I'm gonna feel the whole time like it's my fault and I have to do something, I have to like change something, and I have to come up with something to like fix this, and then it just frustrates me like even more, and then I'm just focused on like what everybody else is doing, and I'm focused on what they are doing, and then I'm not even like playing Pocket Scout properly anymore. Like Condor's dead every 5 seconds because I'm not with him, and this sort of stuff would like kind of happen a lot to us, and it got a lot like worse recently because there's been like a lot of stuff that kind of affected my ability to like focus on TF2. So it's just better to just have Domo do it, and it's still the same playstyle. Like nothing has really changed. Like it's a bit different, it's Domo style, but we're still on the same page about how we want to play, and we still want to trade, and we still want to play on our pace. And I think it's not really going to change anything for the worse, but it's just going to make everything more consistent for us.
Yeah, okay, it makes sense. I think everyone who has ever main call before knows what you're talking about, where there are nights where you feel it, and then it's really hard to have that. It's way easier to be good at the game mechanically every night than to have the mindset of main calling every night. So I think everybody who knows about a bit about this knows what you talk about.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yep.
I feel you on that one.
Yeah, we all know how Yi is a brainiac more than anything.
What place did you come in from?
Yeah, I'm more about the brain. I'm not good at the game. I'm just thinking about it. So I think the last question is, so now Arms, you're in the next round. I'm not going to ask you if you think you can win, because I think you're going to say yes, and this is going to be a lost question. So what are your thoughts on the playoffs system, the one that we have this season? Do you think it's a better one?
Way better, yeah, a million times better. Last season, it was just dumb the way it's been recently. I don't see how anybody thinks that it was better the way it was back then, because like, okay, double elim, I guess it's kind of cool, because even if you fuck up once, you get another chance. I guess it's cool in that way. But what is the point of playing 7 weeks of TF2 and like getting points and like winning the season or whatever when you get nothing else but like a map pick advantage, which is virtually like is useless in TF2 anyway. Like map picks don't win drafts in TF2, like you don't win series with map picks or map pick advantages. So it was kind of pointless the way it was before. I think the way it is right now is quite good. I maybe preferred the way it was a long time ago, where the playoffs were played on one day. So you had the top 3 teams, and then they all played on the same day. I thought that was really cool, because then you could like hype up one date, like it was like that's when the playoffs are, and then that's when the season would get decided. So that was kind of cool. But the way it is now is like better, a lot better than it was before, in my opinion, at least. Yeah, okay. I like it.
Fair enough. I think it's valid, and you've heard it. TurboTabs maps don't matter.
Ouch, man, my feelings. Okay. What have the maps done to you? Okay, right. Well, I mean, that's Ams's side, but what about Yeehaw? I'm sure you've got a couple of words to say. Would you say, like, you really could have done with a second chance? Or was this like, no, yeah, but...
Well, I mean, we lost, so having a second chance would be nice. But, I mean...
Did it feel like a bad day, basically?
Wait, so who do we have played next? Like... The loser of Ascent versus Feint?
Well, it would be a whole different bracket, because you wouldn't have played Ascent in the first place.
Oh, we played 7, right? And then then played third place team. Oh, I don't know. I mean, like from my perspective, like we're probably not going to have that deeper run into playoffs. So as a team, so it's not really that bad. I guess I think it makes sense in games like CS:GO, like if you play it on LAN, because LAN is actually like important. In online, I feel like it's just doesn't make a difference. You just play the same all the time.
Man, I remember when ETF2L used to be everything. It used to be the other way around. The LANs were second to the online.
I
To be
prefer it
fair-
this way.
To be fair, I feel like the only, as far as I can remember, the only time where the fourth seeds made it all the way back to final thanks to double bracket was when I played with Ascent, and we got the help of like Talash and Crafty Dave who nerked us, so we had upgrade. But I feel like most of the time, double LM doesn't really reward the better team, so I feel like it's pretty fair to have that
I feel
layout
like,
now.
I mean, technically it rewards the most consistent team because you play like twice, so I guess it's a more accurate.
Yeah, but
ranking.
the main season already rewards
Technically.
consistent team.
That's true. I mean, if the main season was leading up into like the ETF2L LAN, like like ACA, it would make sense to have double LN.
You're teasing the future, Yeehaw.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I should
Oh
have said that.
That's we got a final announcement for that.
But yeah, if the playoffs are being played on LAN, that would make a lot more sense. But it's just online. This is season 1 billion of ETF2L, so it doesn't really matter. I'm
Alright, I guess I'm all questioned out. I'm not sure about
Yep.
you, Ombrack. Yeah.
It's time to
Okay.
wrap it up. It's late for AMS.
Alright, okay.
It is.
Okay. Ams, you can go first, and then you can go out of the room first. Come on. Get your shout out done. Go on.
Shout out to Domo for being a beast and saving our team. And thanks to you guys for casting. And good games, Aura. Well played. See you at LAN.
Nice. Yeehaw.
shout out to my team. Shout out to Eames for taking a chance on a young orphan boy, letting him play Pocket Scout. Shout out to fucking everyone on Ascent. Remember Kovacs more, and fucking Mac Mumble, I guess. GG.
Cool.
I dropped the
Ombrack.
mic.
Yeah.
Do you want to do a shout out?
Oh yeah. Shout outs to Dum Tum, who's making me cast games, even though I pretty much didn't cast the whole season, so that's cool. Shout out to both teams. That was a nice game. And yeah, I want to say see you at LAN, but I can't, so have fun.
Oh.
Hold on, I need to interrupt. I don't know if there's like a non-compete like clause in the interviews, but make sure you check out Big Boy casts this season.
Alright, okay, yeah.
Yeah, you've just been deleted from TF2 Yeehaw. Well done.
Yeah, don't worry.
Cut the VOD, cut the VOD.
We can cut that in post, that's fine.
Put ads over it.
We'll just...
Put the Red Bull sponsor.
TurboTabs, wrap it up.
Alright, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been ETF2L Season Billion, in the words of Yeehaw, and yeah, thanks for tuning in. This has been our coverage of Ascent versus Aura Elektro. It's been our first round of the ETF2L's new playoff system, and we'll be seeing Ascent.EU face off against Fane Gaming in the future. And we do have to say goodbye to Aura Elektro, but congrats to Ascent.EU. Unlucky Aura Elektro. I've been TurboTabs, with me has been Ombrack. In the interview has been Ams and Yeehaw, and finally, we can never forget about Beta, the greatest of them all, here in doing production. Thank you, Beta. Thank you as well out there for watching. You're the reason we do this. Thank you to Dum Tum as well for giving me some scraps as well of some of the casts. I know it's been
calling
quite...
me scraps?
Yeah, it's been hotly contested scraps, okay? Right. The fact that I even got a cast was quite a miracle. Alright. And finally a big shout out to Ido as well. Alright, we're wrapping this up. We're closing it. Pack it up, boys. Let's go.